Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with this daily technical update. It is Tuesday the 24th of February. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. Alright, let's start what happened in actually on Danish Stock Exchange, Copenhagen Stock Exchange, OMX. Yesterday we had Novo Nordisk, the Danish pharma company that is developing and selling insulin products, diabetes products, and weight loss products. And they came out with disappointing results yesterday on some of their trials, and the stock got hammered about 16.5%. And as we can see here on the daily chart, massive sell-off from the get-go. And here, this is the monthly chart I've taken because we now need to go back, actually back to 2021 to see levels like this. And it seems like we had a bit of a consolidation area here between 233 and 200. We have the 200 moving average coming up here, weekly moving average coming up here, giving some support, but it seems like that's where we are headed at the moment in this region here. We could see it lower to these levels, so it was really bad news. It continued trading on the New York Stock Exchange, obviously, where it's also listed. And as we can see here, it opened 16% lower, closed about 16% lower, and it also seems to be headed to the 200 monthly average at around $34, possibly down to $30. That is a massive drop there that it could be facing further facing. In the US market, there was one company that we rarely talk about, but it's one of the biggest tech companies of all times, IBM, that has been sliding lower the past couple of weeks, got hit with the biggest sell-off yesterday, almost 13%. Biggest sell-off in 25 years due to news that Anthropic, developer of the Claude AI model, came out saying that their AI tool can help modernizing COBOL, which is the program language that is mainly run on IBM computers. So that really hit them. But there's someone has known about this for a couple of weeks, and now we can see massive sell-off there. Let's go to the weekly chart on IBM. Doesn't really look too good. There is a little bit of support here at around these levels here, around 214, 215. But we could see it even further down to possibly 200 and 203, 4 level. So not much support until then. So really bad there. And it actually dragged the US markets lower. And also others were hit, but not as bad as IBM. Here in Nasdaq 100, they're not a part of Nasdaq 100, part of Dow Jones Index, and we'll get to that in a minute because that also hurt the Dow Jones Index quite badly. So Nasdaq 100 here, we have also lower yesterday, 1.2%, but we're still in this sideways range trading here, but with the bearish undertone, with lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows. And it's still 24,500. If it's being taken out once again, and especially with a close below, then we are looking at 24,000 level. Pre-market, a little bit of a bounce. Let's see if it can stay, but it's not really much to talk about. So let's see what's going on here at the next few days. S&P 500 also, of course, also weighed down a bit, but still above 6,789. So that is key to hold that support, but if it does close below, well, then we could see lower levels below 6,700. Pre-market also bouncing a little bit. And let's just have a look at what actually happened on the Dow Jones Index yesterday. You can see it broke below this shorter term rising trend line there. So that's a bit of a worry, really. So we were down about, excuse me, about 1.7%. So let's see what's going on here. Pre-market, not really bouncing much, basically trading around. But you see, this is the future on the Dow Jones. Actually took out that medium-term rising trend line. But key support here at 48,488. And then we have the 100 moving average coming up and the cloud support down here in this region. We can also add a horizontal line to that and that is down here. You can see that's actually where that's 47,800. That will be massive key support there. The Russell 2000, the small caps, also tested the 55 moving average yesterday, sold also there, testing the 55 moving average and support there 258. So let's see, will it break it? If we take that out and take out that dip there, then we could see lower levels on the small caps also. In Asian session this morning, so we are still caught range bound here between 27,400 and 25,264. So that's the range that needs to break out for direction. Nikkei. Yes, it was up 1% on the future, but really in the bigger picture, it's not basically just trading sideways. We need to take out the peak up there, just above 58,622, really re-establishing the bullish trend. Still positive sentiment, but we can see it's declining, so under pressure. In Europe, was fairly quiet there, a little bit of setback after EuroStoxx50 reached the 138.2 projection there, 6,141, spiking a little bit higher, still in a bullish trend, but as we can see, our side declining, so maybe a little bit stressed. But Europe has been doing better than the US markets, and seems like capital is flowing back into Europe. Also, we have the pre-market just unchanged. The DAX index dipping a little bit lower yesterday, but still we are higher, high, high, low, high, 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 low, and higher, high. So we are in a bullish trend. Positive sentiment could build on it, but unless it starts sliding back below 24,750. Pre-market, really not much to talk about. On the FX side, and euro dollar, well, it bounced yesterday, but then it faltered again. So that's still key support here, and the falling trend line there, that will be key. So what will it do? We still have 55 moving average coming up there, underlying support. I still have higher targets, but I need confirmation. If it takes out the peak from yesterday there at 118.35, then I think we will see that really bouncing higher towards 119 or possibly higher. But we still need to see that. So at the moment, it's not really moving anywhere. If it takes out the lows here from last week at 117.40, well, then we're suddenly looking at 116.75-ish area, possibly lower. On sterling dollar, which I didn't have that much moving, also basically, and that's been the name of the game over the past yesterday and also in the week last week. Didn't really, one of them didn't really move that much, not clear direction. But here we also seems to have a bottom and reversal, but we haven't had the reversal just yet. We need to break above this falling trend line there in sterling dollar. Euro sterling, it is still struggling with this peak up here at 87.50. Dollar yen. Let's zoom a little bit. There we are. Still the resistance here just around 155.65. If it takes out that, then we're looking at 156.55 and possibly higher. And if it takes out, I think the low yesterday will spur that a sell-off lower. But for now, we could actually be range bound here in this region here. But however, we have the 55 moving average coming down there, showing medium-term downtrend. So let's see about that. It seems like my internet connection a little bit slow this morning, so it takes a little bit of time to update the charts. I do apologize about that. Euro yen here, we have the 55 moving average, more or less smack bang on the 50% retracement of this sell-off there. Still in a bouncing mode, but negative sentiment, so we could be to the weaker side. But again, we have the 100 coming up here, so I actually think we will be range bound between 181 and 183.50 here for a little while. The Aussie yen also a little bit elevated, still doing better. I mean, the uptrend is still intact. If it takes out the peak up there at last week at 110 and a change 110.10, well, then I think we'll see higher highs up here towards 112. The sterling yen basically trading sideways, which we've been talking about so long. Could be trading sideways and needs to take out the 207 to the downside for push down to 205, possibly lower, or it needs to break back above these levels here and back above the cloud. So we're actually in a neutral position at the moment and not really doing much. Aussie dollar also trading sideways here between 70 and 71.50. That's the breakout range. That's the range it needs to break out of. Dollar Canada testing the resistance there just around 137.25. We have the 55 moving average coming down there. That will give it a pressure to the downside, but it hasn't really confirmed that. But we're in negative sentiment still, and hasn't broken above 60 threshold. So that will be key to watch this level here the next few days or week, or will it actually slide back lower? Key will be 135.85. If it takes out that, then I think we'll see downtrend resuming. EURUSD basically also trading sideways. It is in a bearish trend, but there's a downtrend exhaustion. However, if market or EURUSD suddenly takes out the lows here at 90.80, and the RSI takes out the rising trend line, then I think we'll see lower levels on EURUSD. Dollar Swiss also a little bit uncertainty. Still in this bouncing mode here, just below the 786 retracement there, 77.75. If it starts taking it out, well, then maybe we could see a push up to the levels here around 78.20, 25-ish. If it takes out 76.65, well, downtrend is likely to resume. Dollar index also a bit volatile here. Key strong resistance here at 98. That should be observed. And I think if it takes out 97 to the downside, then downtrend will reserve. We're still negative sentiment, but we are above the 50 level. Maybe I should have a line here so you can see that. The 50. So we are slightly trying to build a bullish trend. You can actually see a higher high there, higher low than there, and new higher high a little bit, but didn't close higher than here. So still quite fragile. We also have the other moving average coming down. There's been movement in metals, especially gold yesterday, and we were warned about it. Actually peaked above the resistance there yesterday when I did this video, and now it's pushed up to 138.2 projection, 5,225 of this little correction there. And I think we will see next few days. We also saw the RSI back above 60 threshold there yesterday. I actually still believe we will see 5,340 here fairly shortly, possibly this week, but let's see. Here we have the gold future, same picture really, but then we actually have a real closing price there, and it actually closed above 60 threshold. So I think we'll see it pushing towards that level of 5,340. Silver also pushed higher, taking out that little peak there. So actually now established a higher low there than here, a higher high than here. So actually re-established the bullish trend. And if we get RSI back above 60 threshold, which I believe we will do, then we could see it pushing higher. Next resistance, let's just draw a trend line there. That is around 92.20, the 138.2 projection of this. So it's more or less in the same place. So that's the next, and I think we will reach that. That could be a little bit of a struggle to break that, but still we are in a slightly bullish trend. The platinum struggling a little bit, can't really get back above the 55 moving average and the cloud. If it does, then I think it will, but again, it's not a recommendation. It's just how I try to read the market, say, well, this is what it looks like, and there's no certainties, only possibilities in technical analysis. Copper, actually quite bullish this morning here, 2.6 higher, pushing higher here, and I think that will continue the next few days. Key strong resistance there, just around 611, 612. That should be observed. We have this peak there. We have just around here. So that will be, but seems to be starting an uptrend above the cloud. Still positive sentiment, likely to push higher. On the crude oil, And let's just zoom out a little bit. There we go. Still bullish trends, a little bit fragile, but I think we'll see it pushing up to around $70 in the next few days or few weeks. Brent crude oil, same picture towards this peak up there, just around 73.60, but still I think we could see it higher. And if we do work with the Fibonacci, we could do that. Maybe I should do a little bit of a training video on how to use Fibonacci. Then we have some projections level here if it really can close above that peak level. The nat gas area still quite volatile here in Europe on Dutch nat gas. Or the European nat gas, you will see volatile again yesterday, but it is more or less dancing on the spot or wide spot area here between 30.29 and up to around 34.40. So that is the range now. It's a big range, I know, but that's how it is at the moment. Unless we dig deeper into smaller time frames, so we're not going to do that here. 292 on the Euros nat gas. Moving on to US 10-year Treasury yields. It actually started bouncing, and they yesterday got pushed back down and actually touched maybe peaked a little bit below the previous lows there, but still we are above 4%, but just slightly. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, then I think we could see it actually dipping to 390, possibly lower. So it seems like the Treasury yields are dipping lower, and we also saw that yesterday in European markets. Let's move on to the EU 10-year. It's taking out the 50%, the 272 there, and I think we could see it down here to around 267, possibly down to around 264, where we have some stronger support area in this region here. Negative sentiment indicating further downside. Also on the UK 10, taking out the support there. So what we can do now, we can remove this, and it's obsolete now, and then we can move back and see, well, where's the next support area? It's all the way down here at 420. We are currently trading 433, area 432 here. So there's really not much stopping it pushing lower. Of course, there will be some corrections on the way, but that seems to be where it is headed at least. Japanese also dipping lower, actually opened lower this morning here, but then has bounced a little bit. There's some strong support here, 2%, and you see that is actually where the 38.2 retracement of this uptrend there is lying. So we could see a test of that and then a bounce, but maybe it bouncing to earlier than that. Finally, on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just above 60,000 support there still, but selling here the past few days, so we could see a test of that. Ethereum also very close to test against, and I think if it tested it, it will also take it out. All right, that's all for today. Quick and dirty, but to be careful out there. There are some pressure to the downside on several markets at the moment, but there could be down counter trends. So let's see. And also with all the tariff shenanigans going on, could also add to the worrying amongst traders and investors. All right, keep charting out there and have a nice day.